Hello everyone, welcome to the Power BI tutorials. In this tutorial, we're going to discuss about working with dates in Power BI. And I'm a trainer of Uplatz. For more information on Uplatz, please find the website address mentioned in the presentation. Now let's see what are the table of content present for this topic. Our index includes apply auto date or time, set and use date tables, work with auto date or time, how to configure auto date or time option, set and use the date tables, setting your own date table, marking your date table as the appropriate data type. So these are the table of content present for working with the date. Let's start with date or time. Auto date or time. Auto date or time Power BI desktop environment. We create a reports BI client. In the model, that means the data set using in the Power BI desktop, and we create model with the help of the data set will includes a column which is of type it's data which is related to the date. Sometimes we want to the date column into its level. So it's not possible us to drill down the date to what we are looking for. Let me clear you with this example. I'm a retail and every month the data is generated about the pins, the products which I am in that data I have it. Here the order date is fed into the data. Order date is present into for my analysis. Order of the audit and which quarter that order has been placed and on which day that order has been placed or that order has been processed. This kind of analysis I'm not able to do it here because the direct date is present here. So in order to avoid this, the Power BI creates inbuilt or time. So the auto date or time is a option is the data load option is to support convenient time intelligence reporting based on the date columns loaded into our model. We can call it as a time intelligence. That means if we want to drill down the date into further levels, then we can consider it as a time intelligence. Like we may want to see with respect to the month basis or with respect to the quarter basis, or we want to analyze it. And specifically, it will allow us to report authors using the model to filter, group, and drill down further into years, quarters, months, and days. When the option is enabled, that means in order to create an auto date or time in Power BI desktop environment for the columns which we want to create, that means for the date columns which we are having in our model, we have to enable the option. That is, data load option has to be enabled. That means when the option is enabled, the Power BI desktop creates a hidden auto date or time table for each date column, and it's providing all the following conditions which are true. That means the table storage mode is important, import. The column data type is a date or date time. The column is not the many side of a model relationship. These are some of the points we have to remember when the option is enabled, data load option is enabled. And it creates a hidden auto date or time table for each of the date column present in our date model. How it works. we try to understand that the Power BI engine, analytical engine, it tries to create a auto date table for each date columns present in our model. But how exactly it will be created, that we are going to see in this slide, like how it works. And each auto date or timetable is in fact calculated table that generates rows of data by using the tax calendar function. This is quite important. And each table also include a 6 calculated columns. They are named as day, month number, month, quarter number, quarter, and year. Here, date time table is in fact calculated table. It generates the rows of data by using the DAX calendar function. That means it takes help of data analysis expression. In the data analysis expression, calendar function will be used, and 6 calculated columns will be generated: day, month number, month, quarter number, quarter, and year. And it also creates the relationship between, that means the Power BI desktop creates the relationship between the auto date or time tables date column and the model date column. That means the date column, which is present in the relationship between the column in the model. Our time table contains encompassing all date values stored in the model column. The year date values, the model date column. To understand this with the help of an example is March 2016. That means the old value we can say, and the latest value is like October 23, 2019, the new value. And the table contains 1460. So here it represents on row for each day and a year. Each auto date or tables are refreshed. The model is the date and encompasses the date. Example below. If it possible to see rows of an auto date or time table, they would look like in the how they have mentioned. We have discussed day, which month number, month, and then. And the table, it also defines a auto table which is created. It also defines the hierarchy. It is the levels where we can drill down to the level to which we want to analyze our just to a month, a quarter, or year. Provide drill down path through the year, quarter, a month, and a day level. And if it were possible to see an auto date or time table in the model diagram, it would look like as shown in the screenshot. So by having a look at this diagram clearly, example we can see the is like a customer state ID, count amount, order date, product ID, promotion code, quality unit. Clearly identify which field is related to date, which is a date column here. So here it is an order date. And if you want to see the levels of the order date, that is if you want to drill down the order date into further, on the right hand side you can see the level date table which is created by the Power BI. That is, we can see here the order date can be further drilled down into date, day, month, number, quarter, and then year. So here the date, the year, quarter, month, and then day. And let us understand how to work with the auto date. When an auto date or time table exists column, and means the one who are find that one as a as the name of the day, we can identify or expand the category. After they expand the hierarchy, they find our 4 levels, that is year, quarter, month, and day. The date time table which is created for the date column instead of can be visible as an expandable which has the name of the date project, and we can find the hierarchy named date hierarchy, and after that we can expand the hierarchy and the level to do the analysis of the data set of the date or time generated can be used to conquer in exactly the same way. It can be used manuals entirely or a specific level of. However, one added capability by when the auto date or time hierarchy or a level from the hierarchy is added to a visual well, can between the hierarchy. This makes a visual when all they require is that the date column, not its levels. Start by configuring the visual field, right clicking the visual field or the click the and using the context menu to between the date column and date hierarchy. And here we can toggle between the date column and the that is particular column. We can toggle to, and we can see in the diagram how we can be the or the date key as per our necessary. And now the models, how the model what we working with model calculation, that is, and it is the calculation is in the data analysis. This is some calculation. I mean, right and for performing cases expression and can directly or the hidden date or indirectly. It can probably a distance a column in the usual date must be reference to a special day, period, month, number, quarter. Bar auto complete allow to select a column from date or time table. Let's talk how to configure the auto or time option. Configured global for the current file. That means the current set. Okay. And the global option, it applies to the new Power BI desktop files, and it can be on or off. For new in the Power BI, both options default. That means by default it will be only, and if you want any tables, auto date time created, turned off, any auto date or timetable removed. From now on, when we turn on the global time will be created, and the table will remove auto date or timetable. In the case of select a file, go to options and settings, and then we have to current file. The option exists in that section, which will be clear by C, where it is marked. It is marked as a red rectangle where the global option is present and the intelligence option is present. The global, we can see the data layer option. We have select as on off. Time intelligence where date tick on top. Understood that we need to for the new file what we are working on. We are discussing it has it by the engine for the user who are working with the models, especially in and the create data keys and other enable metadata for our one. That means try it auto time by ourselves. It will be a cumbersome process and it leads to the complexity, and it will take for prepare and create our reports. And in behalf of the author, Power BI is built-in hierarchy when the creating report features, measures, and so on. And the Power BI is creating a table on our behalf of, we can say, and which we can then use for our text expression. We have seen that these tables are for the date columns, that is, or in the digits for and analysts, they prefer to tables, and it's fine. It's a kind of practice in the Power BI desktop, and can specify the table view our model to use tables, quick measures, and so on. Use tables, date table. We control the date hierarchies created in the and then it's that use your model's date table. That means we are going to take the to create our process or create the table. We can are create like a mark as date table window is there. We can select a that column has to be, and the column must be the data type of it, and clearly mentioned it must be a date data type unique values. As data, the built-in date table removed, which is pressuring to them. We're trying to get our the column removed in the node related for the table, the auto broken is break. Inside it table have to use as a mark as a menu that appears as shown the that date, which by seeing the screenshot we're trying to indicate. You can also select the modeling ribbon, and this is also option where we can create date table. If we modeling section, we mark as a date table, which we can see in the screenshot. As if it ensure contains the unique values, date or time data type, it has the same times across each value. Created by ourselves, but still Power BI from it and Power, and it ensures that it like how it validates whether the dating it can value or it date field or not, date columns date to, and also the type which question like when we have date, and are like two scenarios for creating our own date table. Either the tables going with the one which is already created by the Power BI desktop engine, we are going to our own date table. But when we are creating, we are trying to understand this with the help of the scenario. Like in the first scenario, when we use a canonical or a basic date table hierarchy, and in this table, in our that meets the previously described criteria for a date table. This is we use a axis with the dimension table date field we use as our date table. These are the two scenarios, like one in the canonical or in the basic date table hierarchy, and from we use analysis services. We use a table analysis services, like the dimension date that we use a table. Specify a date table, we can select which column in that is the date column. When specify selecting the, we have to right click and then select. We have select it as a market table where information is displayed when we create with the help of a date fields present in the model. And it is important to note that when we specify our own date table, Power BI Desktop does not auto create the hierarchies that it would otherwise build into our model on our behalf. That means when we create our own table, Power BI does not auto create the hierarchies, and later deselect our date table when it is no longer required. And once we deselect the table, and Power BI Desktop recreates the automatically created built-in data table for us for the date column in the table. That means when the table what we have created is no more required, when we remove the table, Power BI Desktop again on behalf of us, it will again creates the new table. It recreates the new table. And it is also important to note that when we mark a table as a date table, the built-in automatically created date table that Power BI created is removed, and any visuals DAX expression we previously created based on those built-in tables will no longer work properly. That is what when we mark a table as a date table, the built-in date table that Power BI created will be removed. That means when we create a new table, the built-in table referencing to that column in the model will be removed, and also the DAX analysis, the DAX expression related to that table also removed. And here, making our own date table as the appropriate data type. Here we can see when we specify our own date table, we need to make sure that the date type is properly set, and we want to set the date type or the date time or date. And here they have mentioned some of the steps, like select the date table from the fields pane. From the fields pane, we have to select the date table, and we have to expand it if it is necessary, and then we have to select the column to be used as the date, which column is used as a date. And in the modeling tab, we have to select the data type, which data type, and then click the drop down arrow to show the available data types. What are the available data types? So here we are, as we know, as we have learned, and as we are going through with the date table. So here we are going to select the date or time. That means we have to specify the data type for our column. So it is easily understood by looking into the screenshot where we are trying to show like how we are going to select the data type for creating the new date table. So in this tutorial, we try to understand the concept of auto date or time tables, or in short, we can call these as a date tables in the Power BI desktop environment. These date tables are created on behalf of the authors or the analysts. And in some cases, data analysts or the authors, they try to create these date tables by their own. And many other aspects of date tables we have learned in this tutorial. That's all for the day. Thank you, folks.